Drink it in, man.
Deep left side carry on. Picks on the block. At the 5. At the 2. At the 1 to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
Drink it in, man.
Get up, Stafford throws. It is end zone. Caught! Oh, baby, what a catch! Kenny Galladay, you're a freak! What a catch! Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
Cornbread! I love the Lions! Say it with me! I love the Lions!
Drink it in, man.
Detroit Koolaid, what is going on, everybody? Me and Grifka, we are recording a little bit early on a Monday here. It's another holiday week, so you guys are probably listening to us on Wednesday. And if you are, Happy New Year! It's 2020. Grifka is in the house. And Grifka, we got to throw this music up because it's 2020, baby. We are done with the 2019 season. We're going to talk about the Green Bay game, but we're heading to 2020, and I'm excited for it. So what's going on, Grifka?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm happy that the calendar flipped, man. We all said it was a real trying season, but it's over. It's time to, disperse with the leftover Kool-Aid from 2019, start mixing up the new batch for 2020.
Absolutely, man. It's crazy that it's 2020. I can't even believe it. But we've had a blast doing this show the past, couple years now. I think we've been doing this thing, and we're really looking forward to it. So we hope everybody had a tremendous New Year. You're listening to us in the new decade. I mean, I'm still trying to bring Grifka along, but it's going to be the decade of the Lions. The biggest offseason of our life is coming up, and I'm super fired up. So it's going to be big, Grifka. You ready for this or what?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, everybody. 2019 in the rearview mirror. We're heading forward to 2020 right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Let's do this thing. I think a few arguments may ensue, some hilarity, and we're going to talk about this Green Bay game that happened, Grifka, on Sunday to close out the season for our Detroit Lions. So you ready to do this?
Yeah, let's jump right into this.
Grifka, I'm glad you're ready because I'm coming at you right out the get-go. So yesterday I'm sitting there watching the game, minding my own business, carrying on. All of a sudden, Paul from Tampa chimes in on Twitter. And what does he say? Some shenanigans, some, foolishness about, hey, you guys know that guy Chase Young that everybody says is a generational talent? He's not that great. And I'm like, what? I'm like, all you people overthinking it. This guy has a couple bad football games and now you're ready to go take someone else and outthink yourselves in the draft. And then you come chiming in, oh yeah, he hasn't played very well in all these games. I'd pass on him, and I start coming at you. Next thing you know, I'm in like a 20-minute Twitter battle with you, Paul from Tampa, and a few people come to my rescue. It's like, what is happening yesterday? I mean, you're bailing on a guy like Chase Young because a couple games you watch your lazy boy, he wasn't good, so now you're just giving him your tagline or what?
Well, I don't know if he's as good as like all this hype that he's getting. I mean, he had 2 weeks off in the year, and he came back, fresh, for the Penn State game, the Michigan game, the Wisconsin game, and the Clemson game, and he was a ghost in all those games. And you're watching the game, they're like, oh no, he's doing this, it's allowing everybody else. Well, like I said, he's not as good as either one of the Bosas because they were doing the same stuff to them, and Joey and whatever Bobby Bosa or whatever his name is, I can't remember right off the top of my head. Those
Nick and Joey, come on.
Okay.
You think a draft expert like you would know this? Come on.
It slipped my mind. It's like you said, it's Monday night, but I've started partying early. I'm, drinking some of the bubbly right now. So,
Grifka, you got to get it right. It's a little bit of the bubbly. That's how you got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I put back to you. It's like, don't be surprised if he's not Reggie White or even Dwayne White. I mean, so everybody's making it sound like he's stud, but I mean, he was a ghost in 4 straight games. I mean, once they kind of figured it out, and like pro coaches tend to be better than college coaches, so It
Oh
doesn't
my
matter.
gosh.
He's saying how he's going back to Ohio State anyways. He must be getting paid pretty good there, so he doesn't need the money in the NFL.
Oh, Grifka, I cannot wait till draft time where we get to battle it out because your takes make me laugh so much. Like these people, I swear, I have so much love for the Lions fans, and I have so many bones to pick with them during draft season and when they're just coming at our whole organization because all they see is the record. They can't look past like anything other than these bottom line statements. Like, have you seen Chase Young in a jersey, Grifka?
Yeah, I've seen him in a jersey. He looks like every other defensive end in a jersey with shoulder pads and a helmet.
He looks like every other defensive end. First of all, he wears a midriff. The thing's not even. He's got like a half jersey.
They all do at Ohio State because they got to show off like their six-pack abs because they spend more time in the gym doing crunches than they do like studying a globe. You know, I mean, they're not doing their homework or going to class there. So, I mean, they're like football 101. You pass rush 101. You should probably see like his class schedule. I highly doubt there's a psychology class on there at all.
Grifka, unlike you this year, where like every chance you get, you brought up I don't know, this guy named Baker Mayfield, and you said how bad he was, and then you went on about your other two draft prospects you actually got right. Speaking of abs, can you just tip your cap a little bit on DK Metcalf here? The guy's been real good. He doesn't just run nines. He's running all types of routes, catching the football. I mean, you want to talk about abs and a specimen. I said he was. He's faster and bigger than everybody. He's in the perfect offense. I mean, can you half tip your cap, or is that you can't do that?
No, I mean, I was
oh my
thinking,
gosh.
no, listen, hear me out. I'm totally coming to your side on there. I'm tipping my cap. I'm throwing you as much love as possible because I was watching that 49ers Seattle game, and I seen his stats, and even when I seen the stats before, I mean, I was like, holy bleep! I'm like, damn, Derek. I was just like, I'm gonna have to give him some love for this, and I was planning on giving you love for it at season's end, but since you brought him up, I will hand it to you. I mean,
Wow,
yes.
man, we've come a long way, Grifka. You actually half admit something. I mean, I try to not only give you DAP, but like you give yourself enough on the ones you get right. Now you're giving me a little bit. So Grifka, on DK Metcalf, at least for right now, me and you somewhat, I don't know, agree.
We agree.
So you've seen Chase Young in a uniform.
Metcalf was very impressive against some very good defensive backs that he played against this year. He really was.
And my favorite part of your take is that you finally got to put Grifka's eyes on him, and that's what does it for you every time. Like you barely see him, you kind of, but if you watch him and he's good, then you just tip your cap. That's my favorite. But let's get back to Chase Young real quick because we're going to move on to some other topic.
Yeah, because I know
Young,
plenty of other options, plenty of more time to talk about, your man love for Chase Young. So
exactly. So
even though he won't be there at 3, but okay, go ahead. Hell, he might not even be in the draft. He might go back to Ohio State. He obviously has a sugar daddy that pays for plane tickets for his girlfriend. So,
Grifka, can I talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
You've seen this guy in a jersey. You say he looks like every other defensive end. Everybody that does this for a living and that is a high level is calling this guy a generational prospect. He gets after the quarterback. He sets the edge in the run game. But you and Paul from Tampa want to you just know better than everybody. And if he's there, you're passing on him for Brown, or you're gonna take Simmons, and you're gonna get this all generational guy. Like, don't do that at the top of the draft. You want to do that in the 4th round and pull out your guy, I don't know, Rocky Ya-Sin, and try to outthink everybody after I told you who he was because you thought he was some guy from the Far East. That's fine, but don't do that in the top. Don't play this game the next couple months like you're unsure about Chase Young, because I'm telling you, it's pretty much a slam dunk on this guy. I don't know why everybody's doing the old draft overthinking. So after about 10 Twitter exchanges of me coming back at you and you telling me, I don't know anything about the draft, and me telling you that your Lazy Boy is the only place that you do any drafting once or twice a year, or scouting, that is, like, finally we agreed on something when we both tweeted out at the exact same time. Oh baby.
That was a
baby.
That was a hell of a pick. I mean, that really was.
Man.
That was a hell of a pick. And I realized, we'll talk about that game. He did get abused on that one play when Slay was out injured. And I realized Slay was trying to man up, and people are like, I have this one friend who just bashes on Slay all the time. And I'm just always like, well, that's your opinion, man. And, Slay was out injured, walked away, and, Rodgers, took advantage of AO on that touchdown to Adams. But still, I mean, this guy could be, he could be pretty solid for the Lions, for years to come. So
We'll get to AO. Hey, Grifka, did you tell your friend about the whole handshake with you and Darius Slay every time he comes at you?
Yeah, he knows about it. He's not impressed though. You think I'm not impressed with stuff? This guy's less impressed with stuff than me.
Oh my goodness, miserable. I hate to do it, but I got to do it. We got to shout out your boy Big Play on the show because he had put out he's always funny in his pressers. He put out a good tweet about 7 years down looking for a big 2020. So I said, what the heck, I'll shoot him a text back and said, hey Slay, you always ball out, you make me laugh. You're elite corner, hashtag one pride as I do for the to represent for the all Lions fans. And he not only likes the tweet, he retweets. So big play, man. What a man of the people and a fan favorite. So I know that he did that partly because he's like, man, isn't that Grifka's buddy who shook my hand and told me I was gonna be good? Like, let me give him a retweet.
Probably, and that's probably why. And I know Darius got my Christmas card this year because I wrote the address on it perfect. I realized he was probably too busy to send one back, but I'm cool with that. I'll send him another one next year. And once again, I'll write the address on it perfect. So.
Oh man, just don't go over the Milwaukee Bridge, Grifka.
Okay.
So we got the Chase Young argument out of the way. I actually have Jerry Jeudy argument here on my little show sheet, but we'll have to save that for another day because Grifka, we got to get into this Green Bay review. I think there's a lot to say about this game, as well as to finish out the season strong. So how about we take a quick break for our sponsors? We'll come back and talk all about it.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, everybody, please support our sponsors. We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by PwC. When unprecedented times are all the time, it's time to start walking the talk. Leaders like you turn to PwC to see and stay ahead. Upskill your workforce, use intelligent automation, and transform big ideas into breakthrough reinvention. Explore the human-led tech-powered solutions that help you reinvent. It's all part of the new equation. Learn more at pwc.com.
Detroit Koolaid, we're back in the house. We got to talk about Green Bay visiting Ford Field, but I got to tee this up first of all, Grifka. So months ago, it was back in October. Me and you made the long road trip to Green Bay. We told the people all about it. We did some podcasts on the road. We had one of the greater tailgates of all time. We had incredible seats. We got off to an incredible start with the flea flicker, where I think I squealed the minute it went because I was so excited. We got up big. Me and you argued for about 2 quarters because you bitched about the one bad thing they did. And the Lions came back and lost in heartbreaking fashion. Would have been first place in the division. Looked like we were rolling at that point. And all you could say on the way out to all the cheddarheads was, hey guys, that was a good game. I really had fun in Green Bay. Man, that was a great football game. And I'm sitting there like, Grifka, shut the hell up. We just got screwed by the refs. That was the worst game I've ever seen in my life. So we argued for another, 5 hours as we drove home and got hit by a deer in the car. So that it was a great experience except for the game, yet some reason you thought it was great. So moving to this game at Ford Field, Grifka, I thought this was a great football game. I mean, to me, we everything other than the final score and the fact that Aaron Rodgers got his phantom call like he always does at the end, and stupid Mason Crosby hit a field goal at the buzzer. I thought young talent played pretty well. I thought that we had some bright spots. I was sad to see Kenny go out because he was balling again in the beginning and would have went way over 1,200 and maybe found the end zone a couple times. But AO, Will Harris. I like some things I saw from the linebacking core. I mean, lots of bright spots, I thought, and pretty fun football game for a team that's 3 wins going against a team that has, 12 wins trying to win a dang bye week. We take them right to the brink. I mean, what'd you think about this game?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. I thought that was a very entertaining football game and good. And it seemed like at some points the I mean, once again, everybody's going to be like, oh, yeah, blame the refs. I know I tweeted at one point where, what is it? I think it was a back judge by Erdon, and it was actually the side judge talked the line judge into that. Maybe it was Adams or whatever. No, coming down with the catch on the sideline, and his foot was a good 8 inches out of bounds. And you watch the replay, and like the side judge is like staring at his feet, and he comes up. If you watch it, the line judge is kind of like, gonna make the move with his arms that he's like, it's an incomplete pass. And then the side judge comes up, talks to him, and then they're like, completed pass. And I'm just like, I was more angry. It's like, you have to waste a challenge on that. I mean, it's like, that's like so obvious. And even like Charles Davis is like calling the game. He's just like, well, this should be reviewed like in 4 seconds. I mean, what were you looking at, side judge? You watch it. You're looking right at his feet, and you're going to like call that a catch? I mean, so obviously, the NFL was really trying to do a good job trying to give, Aaron Rodgers some calls, considering they were losing at that point in the game. But, they had the phantom call later, and was it Wilson got called for, roughing the quarterback after he starts to dive at, Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers decides to slide, and he hits a shoulder pad, and since, it looked bad enough that, they called the roughing the passer for Aaron Rodgers. And, but it was a very entertaining game, and I thought Blau played probably his best game he had since Thanksgiving. Even though his one pass, his interception, I wish you please cue up the soundbite. The what the hell you doing? Because I think that's what I said when I saw him throw to 2 Packers guys. So that was the most head scratching pass he had all game. What the hell are you doing?
Grifka, let me read my tweet about this. I'm glad you went right to the officials, because again, the officials didn't cost us this game, but that play on the sideline, I'm so with you that the fact that we have to even waste a challenge. Here's what I wrote on Twitter. I didn't see yours, but I'm sure it was a very positive, glowing tweet. I literally just saw 2 buffoons, zebras, look right at a play, black cleats on a white sideline, and then emphatically called it a catch. Morons. Unbelievable. At NFL officiating. What a freaking joke. Like, does that sum it up or what? I know you went on like a 3-minute diatribe about it, but that's all that needs to be said. These guys are absolute clown shows, and it's just an embarrassment to football.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I know
2 guys were there looking at it.
And I know, what is it? The Lions didn't use another challenge, and there's points during the season we kind of questioned like why Pat didn't throw the challenge flag at certain situations. But I guess what I find more annoying is just like it's so blatantly obvious that his foot was out of bounds. Even at game speed, I was just like, well, that's not a catch. You could tell, I'm just like, that wasn't a catch. And then they show it and they call it a catch, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And then they show the replay, and it's like, duh. And the worst part is you have to waste a challenge because you never know when you're going to have to use that again, on something that's so obvious that they missed it that bad. It's just... Right,
and hello NFL, like, okay, you screw up a call, the coach has to challenge it to get it overturned. Why is the guy not getting his challenge back? Like, you screwed up, he called you on your screw up, he got it right. Why is that a burn challenge? It's like it can come back to be a huge negative in a football game. Why? Because your guys are absolute buffoons and don't know what they're doing and have like, the eyesight of Ray Charles? Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is ridiculous. Grifka, can I talk about a better topic real quick?
Yeah.
And then I'll give it back to you. So listen to this. Again, I was doing probably 10 different things during this game, keep my eye on it, working on some other projects, but I was shooting a few tweets out. So get this tweet. I put, what happened to the 1 or 2 trick plays per game too that we utilized early this season? Dial it up when it matters throughout the year, Bev. About 15 minutes later, there it is, Bev, with some magic again. Do this when it matters in 2020, boys. I mean, is that about as good as my, hey, freaking sign Bo Scarborough, would you? 10 minutes later, the Lions sign Bo Scarborough.
They must be reading your tweets. Like, well, Derek Oakery, at Derek Oakery said you do this. So okay, let's
Bob Quinn gave me a follow, and now my tweets are getting right to the offensive coordinator. It's incredible.
It's like that's what you're doing, and then what's happening is kind of like one of those. It's like a movie almost. Like you can win a chance to stand on the sidelines with the Detroit Lions and call plays. It's like, okay, cool. That's what happens. I mean, it's 3rd and long. What should we do? I think we should run a draw play. Oh, okay.
Oh man, I had another one during the game. I was talking with some friends and I go, "How about we just run some smash mouth with on Johnson, get him in the end zone?" And like 3 plays later, they got it down to the one and he just bowled over a guy and got a TD. I love that too.
Yeah, that's
So
that offensive line, the middle of the offensive line played pretty well. I just don't know if it was just a good matchup for him against Green Bay's defense. I'm still not sold on how awesome, they made Green Bay's defense sound all year. I mean, yeah, they cut their stats down and they're improved, but I mean, that was a nice clothesline. Was it one of the Smith brothers had on Blau early? I mean, that was like such a blatant roughing. I'm surprised they even called roughing the passer on that. I really was when he got hit. It was just like he was giving him the clothesline from hell, the JBL clothesline from hell on that is what it was.
Grifka, here's 2 softballs for you. So Grifka, you thought the Green Bay like defense, everybody was saying they were playing incredible, but I mean, you thought
yeah, they're
they
not
weren't
that great.
And then, hey Grifka, did you say our offensive line was playing, I don't know, pretty good?
I'm feeling pretty good.
The middle was
pretty good.
Wait, you had issues with the edge guys or something?
Yeah, I mean, my favorite boy. I'm watching him early on. Smith beats him off the edge, but Blau's able to pass it away. And then there's another one. He blocks him, and then like Smith like gives him this like once again for some odd reason, like listen to Packers games, they just make them sound like no matter what that team does, it's like the most amazing athletic play around. It's just like Decker goes out to block Smith. He gives him just kind of like a stanky leg and drop foot, and like Decker just stands there and goes up and tackles Carrion when he tries to get to the edge. And they're like, "What a great move! Great move!" Decker's standing there like a statue, man. I mean, come on! Let's not act like Reggie, the second coming of Reggie White was out there putting all these moves on him. It's just like,
Grifka, let me help you out, and then let me talk.
Okay. What the hell are you doing?
There you go. That's you to Taylor Decker. And let me say this. This is what I want to get off the top. So every week or two we have this back and forth about Taylor Decker, Jared Dace, whatever. So you noticed the play where the guy ran right around Taylor Decker and he stood there like just a piece of crap. You noticed another play which you just detailed or whatever. You do know that there was probably 60 other snaps in that game where basically he was just not seen at all and was probably all over his man. You do realize this, right?
You mean Smith or Taylor Decker?
Taylor Decker. Because what I'm trying to get across to you is that like we can pull up any game and watch certain players and they're always gonna miss blocks. They're gonna not run through the hole. They're always gonna mess up. But my thing is like when it's like 75% one way and 25, I'm taking the 75%. That's why I back this guy. I said on another show or my show last week, I was like, he's not elite, he's not incredible, but like for the 2 plays you called out, the rest of the game, I don't notice barely anything from the guy. That's why we have this argument all the time. So like, are you ever going to get to that point where you, again, like you did with DK, like tip your cap that for 3+ quarters you never notice him, but 2 plays you did, and so you just hate the guy? Or does he have to choke slam you to get this through?
I mean, he could try to choke slam me, but obviously just give him a drop stanky leg, standing like a statue, and I'll just go around him. But I mean, sorry, I guess I strive for my left tackle to be more of like, I bring him up, get your bell. I'll bring up, Anthony Munoz, Joe Thomas, Walter Jones, those guys. Laugh at me about it. That's a guy you could put one-on-one no matter who he's against. You don't have to worry about leaving a back in there to chip block in, moving the tight end on that side and do that. No, sorry, that's what I want out of a left tackle. And,
note to Grifka, not everybody's going to be a Hall of Fame, all-pro, all-everything guy. You can't have
that's
those
the standard
all the
I
time.
go against. I'd rather spend money on guys like that as opposed to like, well, let's make sure we have enough money so we have a 5th defensive tackle. Okay, okay.
Oh my goodness. All right. So we're all over the place with this game, but like the summary of it. So like we come out the gate, touchdown on the throw from Danny to Blau, which was incredible. I mean that was just one of those draw it up in the dirt. It just annoyed me again because like before this game started, I'm like, I really hope they don't pull out some incredible play because this really means nothing. Like save it for next year's opener or something. Sure enough, they pull the rabbit out of their hat. I tweeted out like it was kind of nice to see a little emotion from Matt Pat, a little excitement, but we shouldn't be needing some trick play as well as the last game of the season. That means nothing to get this guy, not only fired up, but it kind of looking excited on the sideline. Then Carry On ran over the guy on the 1-yard touchdown. That was an 11-play, 80-yard drive, 14-0. This is where in Green Bay, the Packers come back and get a field goal where Grifka nudged me and said, "Look, this team's terrible. Like, they can't do anything right." I'm like, "Grifka, it's 14-3. We're killing them." But second quarter, 14-3, no big deal. We come right back down before the end of the half with no time left and get a field goal. So 17-3 at the half. Like, how are you feeling? I know you're going to go on and tell the people about how I just want to get a victory and feel happy. But your brain, because I've trained you as such the last couple of years, you have to know at this point, the only really thing that's important is getting that 3 or 2 pick at this point. I mean, we're having fun because our team is playing well, but did you go into Grifka mode and just say you want to win because you hate Aaron Rodgers?
Oh yeah, of course I did. I mean,
Of course.
Any time the Lions can beat Green Bay, I mean, I'm happy with. Now if this was just like some game against, they were playing like, I don't know, like the Cardinals or the Jaguars or whatever like that, going loose. I mean, you're gonna blow your draft pick against that, but I don't know. Anytime you can beat that smug guy Aaron Rodgers, and gosh, I can't stand him, and I just want to punch his mustache off his face.
But here's the thing, Grifka, like I'm with you, and like I found myself starting to go there, being like, all right, we're beating them down, like, and I fought it. I was kind of like, as long as they continue to play well, keep people healthy, I knew a loss could drop us a few spots, and that's really, I don't know what beating. Well, I guess the cherry on top would have been that you would have kept them away from the bye, but still, that's when I use my analytical brain and say, like, okay, would I rather keep Green Bay from one bye week and get the joy of a victory, or would I rather be number 3 overall in every round of the draft where we're trying to turn our franchise around? So I enjoyed this game. I kind of almost got sucked in, but I kept saying, nope, like, just keep playing well, and if we win, I guess it's a bonus. But I really, the people might hate to hear it, but I didn't want this one for all the reasons that make sense.
Yeah, I have one question. Where was that Ty Johnson all year? He had 3 rushes for 65 yards.
Exactly. I was about to tee him up for you.
Like,
Your
dude,
boy finally came through. I mean, my thing though was, like, I tweeted it out right away. I was like, finally, because I did the same thing for Will Harris. Like, you've been waiting for Ty Johnson to break one, and you even talked me into it. So for weeks on my fantasy show, hey, maybe this is the week Ty Johnson blows up. Maybe Ty Johnson will hit a home run. Maybe he'll hit a crease and go for 30, 40 yards. And then same with Will Harris. Hey, when's Will Harris going to get his hand on a football? When's Will Harris going to blitz off the edge and get after the quarterback? When's he going to, maybe make a pick or make a play that's impactful instead of be 2 steps slow? And both of us got our wish in this game. They were both not only good, but what we expect. So got to keep it up, man.
Yeah, I just hope it's like one of those things, like those plays like that. I hope it, I'm really hoping that it carries over into next year, where we can kind of like Carry On showed some stuff that game. Bo Scarborough, he really showed some stuff. Ty Johnson showed that stuff. So I don't know. Well, I know we'll talk about this in draft, later, if this really kind of puts that high draft pick, second round running back to bed, something like that. But we can discuss that later. So,
Grifka, let's finish up this game. A couple guys you left off the list. I felt like Tracy Walker played really well. He's all over the field, over 100 tackles for the year, and he missed 3 games, as I believe Eric Schlitt put out on online. That's big time. I mean, you don't want your safety. I know Grifka, you'll do your bit about, well, he's making tackles 10 yards down the field. Like, to me, this was a Tracy Walker type game where he was guarding up on the line of scrimmage. He got his hands on a few footballs with his go-go gadget arms. Finally, he brought a few guys to the ground. The greatest tackle of the game, in my opinion, was that crossing route where AO was beat by like 3 yards, but when the guy made the tackle, made the catch, he made an incredible tackle to kind of keep him. I think that was either second or third down as well. So AO, like you said earlier, great pick. Played well. Him and Harris really got toasted on that run. But like you say, Lions are up big. Everybody's saying, oh, man, let's beat the Packers. Sure enough, they come out in the third quarter. Touchdown to Devontae. Field goal from Crosby. 56-yarder by Matt Prater. I mean, that was good from 76. That was incredible. And him blazing the tats was great. But sure enough, the stupid Packers come down. Like, this is like what happened in Green Bay, too. That pass to Alan Lazar. It was like anything but this. What was it? Do I have the distance here? A 28-yard touchdown pass. Like, let's say it even takes them like 2, 3, 4 more plays to score rather than just one 30-yard chunk for a touchdown. Like, we basically win the game again, but because they took this big chunk, got it up over Slay, touchdown, then they had enough time to get the football back, bleed the clock down, which was, again, the most frustrating part, because even though I'm trying to use my brain, I'm thinking, are they really going to just take it down to nothing? And again, the little play to Aaron Jones, I mean, where he just should have been tackled, he gets through a few tackles, runs down there in field goal range, like, that's the part that drove me nuts. But other than that, I mean, like I say, I thought it was a good game. I thought it was fun to watch. I was glad we kept our draft status. And yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a piece of crap.
Yeah, and I get tired of like listening to, and I generally like listening to Charles Davis call a game, but I was surprised how, Aaron Rodgers was able to throw the ball so effectively in the second half with Charles Davis' head so far up his butt, because it's just one of those things like, oh gosh, it's amazing how hard. Like, at one point they come back from a commercial break and they're just talking about how this Packers team isn't giving up and they're fighting back. And it's like, take a step back and realize who they're playing. They're playing the team that has nothing to play for, and they're struggling with them. So yeah, maybe they were sleepwalking a little bit or whatever. But that's on the coach's job to have them up. It's like, hey, we're actually playing for this. We're actually playing for, like, home field advantage, blah blah blah. And if you want to come out and take the lines lightly, thinking you just slap the helmets on and go out and play, I mean that did show some grit, by the Lions team, I mean, you want to hear the cliche playing for pride. So yeah, maybe they were doing that, but that's like probably one of the best defensive games we've seen the Lions play all year until, like you said, the wheels kind of fell off in the second half. And, besides, Wilson, drilling Aaron Rodgers for the penalty, the hit that he put on Jones out of the backfield on that wheel route. Oh my gosh. That's highlight reel right there. And I love that hit. And like I said, it was clean, and it was just, he drove his shoulder through his stomach and knocked the ball free when he did the hit. It was like one of those great hits, it's just.
Who would you say?
Was it Tavon Wilson did that?
Yeah, it was Tavon. Yep. Yeah. I just thought, like you said, between the two guys I mentioned and you bring up Tavon, it's a great thing to bring up because that was a huge play. Really good safety play as well. I just thought there's just a lot of good bright spots. Like you say, the fight, the grit, like people are still frustrated to lose a game like that. But if there was a ton on the line, I'd be breaking my computer right now while we're talking. But instead it was just, I mean, listen to these stats, Grifka. David Blau, 12 for 29, 122, and a pick at the end of the game, which he's shown to be great at. Like, hey, I'll kind of hang in there for 3.5 quarters, and then when the game is in the balance, I'll either throw a pick or go 3 and out and cost us. I mean, I don't mind him as like a clipboard holder, but I think he's sort of shown what he is. Great guy in the locker room, but he's frustrated me a lot. Your boy Ty Johnson, I mean, I don't know if he led us in rushing, but it says 3 carries here, 65 yards. I know Carry On and Bo, like you said, had some bright spots, but they were probably in that 40, 50-yard range. And Kenneth Galladay, 3 catches, 72, and was out basically, 5-7 minutes into the game with what looked like a very odd concussion, they called it. He just sort of fell down. I thought he fell on the football and got his wind knocked out of him. Next thing you know, he's completely out of the game. That was really too bad for the guy.
Yeah, it didn't look like something, so I guess just the way the human body works and angles and the speed that he fell at, because you're right, it didn't look like the most devastating, hit of the head on the ground. But I mean, still, obviously it knocked him out, made him woozy enough where it might have been one of those things where like there's somebody up in the press box now that watches that too. If anybody looks, slow getting up, woozy, something, they actually call down to the sideline and tell the team to make sure that they go into concussion protocol as well. So I know that's happened in a few different games this year where guys tried to go back in and they've had to stop the game to pull them off, to put him in concussion protocol, because the person up in the press box is like, no, you pull that guy off and look at him.
Hold on, Griff. It's a good point, but I have a funny gimmick. We can't get on a big side tangent, but you know what I want one of these days is how like they mic up the players. I want to get one of these players mic'd up that sort of gets called over by the medical staff, but he's one of those players that like can't even read the phone book, and so like they start asking him the concussion questions. It doesn't matter if he has it or not. There's just no way he's getting through the protocol. Like, I need that on like NFL Films audio, where it's just like, where are you at? I don't know. Like, but he's not concussed at all.
Well, see, that's why we can't draft Chase Young, because the guy can't even do an interview when he's sound. I mean, put him in a football game, he's always going to sound like he has concussion. Chase, where you at? Okay.
Grifka, you said, here, let me bail myself. You said that on a previous show, but I disagree. Just tell him to go hunt the quarterback and devour the run game. I mean, gosh, now I really hope we get him, because you're just going to hate on every little thing he does. And I'm going to be like, look we got him and Flowers for the next half decade.
When we go to the home opener next year, it means you're going to wear your tiny T midriff and you're going to be showing off your stomach and be like, hey man, check it out. It worked though.
Yeah, I'll definitely need to do a few crunches beforehand if that happens. But yeah, that's my dream. So here's the good part. So we were frustrated at the end. We talked about some bright spots. We obviously had some fun here on the show. The Lions, when this game ended, we had the third pick. It couldn't get any worse than the third pick. Everybody knew it was a long shot for the Redskins to lose, especially based on the team they put out there. They got bombed by Dallas. So it's going to go the Bengals, Washington, and our Lions. Unfortunately, but fortunately, at number 3 overall. We're going to talk all about that this offseason, but to me, that was huge. For as bad as the season it was, they basically did the right thing with IRing people, keeping them safe, as well as, not winning, so that we can get the absolute best draft pick, the best player. And we had this argument last year that, wins versus draft pick. Well, last year they got some wins late that somewhat cost them, and this year they didn't. So I'll be real curious to see who they get and how it turns out, because those losses could be the best thing that's happened to this team in like a decade when it's all said and done. If the draft falls the way and a few of these players turn out that they get at the top of the first, second, and third rounds, you could be looking back, Grifka, and saying, man, that was like a really, really tough season, but that changed our fortunes for years to come. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's the silver and Honolulu blue lining right there for that the season in that ball game. But that's it, man. Lions done for the year. 3 wins, a bunch of losses, and a freaking tie.
Yeah, that tie. Who knew that tie would, stop us from getting the number 2 pick?
No, Grifka. If you'd pay attention on Twitter, a bunch of people said it wouldn't have mattered anyway. We still would have been in third based on tiebreaker. So don't give me that garbage.
I saw that.
You're just trying to dampen the situation like always. But no, man, it's been a tough season. It's been a fun show though. Today we're gonna come back on Friday. We have a whole slate of things, kind of that end of season type wrap up. We're putting together our off season type shows. I want everybody to come back next Wednesday and check us out, because Matt Pat and Bob Quinn just stepped to the podium a little before we started recording here on Monday. I got all types of takes, all types of rants, all types of issues with people in the media. Some things Matt Pat said, some Bob Quinn stuff. Grifka, you better be ready for that show, because I'm going to be ready to go. Grifka, I mean, we're going to be loaded up. Detroit Koolaid. I mean, you got anything else for the people?
Nope.
Everybody, drink that Detroit Kool-Aid. We're putting the season in the rearview mirror. We'll obviously talk a little bit about it, but we're moving forward to 2020. We hope that you'll continue to support us, listen. We really appreciate it, and we're going to talk all things Detroit Lions. Me and Grifka, along with Matt, Pat, and Bob Quinn, and a whole bunch of other people, are going to get this thing turned around and get us going in the right direction. So check us on Friday. We'll be talking all things Detroit Lions right here on the Detroit Koolaid Cast. Take care, everybody. We're out.
Pack the bags, start the plane. This game is over. It is over. What a comeback by the Lions.
Drink it in, man.